Good morning. This is Waltz lesson 2. So we should have now got to the point where you have got 8 chords mapped out. You've worked out your Roman numeral labelling, so you can put it in a different key. You've got 2 cadences, and you've either done it as 8 bars of just 1 per bar, or you've put the slow harmonic rhythm in with the 4 times for each one, because that is a feature of waltzes. What we're going to do now is think about adding the melody. So I'm going to start with the extended harmonic rhythm, the slow harmonic rhythm. And you can do this in a number of ways. You can record yourself doing what you've done before with right and left doing the cha-cha. And that may be a way of doing potentially more than you can play. And as you will see in a bit, I'm probably going to struggle doing it with my left hand. So what you can do, option 1, is to actually video yourself or do an audio recording of your chords already. And then you're only concentrating on one part to go over the top of it. So obviously this relies on kind of multiple devices unless you're a whiz at switching from one to the other. So that's one way of doing it. Record your harmonic rhythm like this, etc. The other way of doing it is doing it with the cha-cha in one hand. So instead of going cha-cha, you would go cha-cha. If you're really clever with the pedal, really good at the piano, as you can see, I'll even put a bass variant in there. I'm not going to be able to do that because I don't practice the piano anywhere near enough. So you've now got, and then moving over to the G. Now you may need to practice that a little bit. You may just be able to record it and go on. Okay, what I'm interested in now is developing a melody. So the way that we need to think about melody, there are 2 ways of thinking about melody. One is to have the chords in front of you, lay out your chords, plan out your chords, and use the chord note as a starting note to write a melody. The other way of doing it is by coming up with a melody first. Now, you can do it the other way. Absolutely no problem with you doing it the other way. It can be, there's positives and negatives. Doing it this way, you may well end up with a melody that's a little bit more formulaic and less imaginative, but you will, because you're starting with the chords, you know they're going to fit. The other way, if you start with a melody and then add chords after, you have to fit the chords to your melody, which means your melody may well be imaginative and creative and have that spark about it, but you have to then work out what chords will fit. So I'm doing it chords first. If you want to do it melody first, you're very welcome. Record your melody and then we can look at what chords will fit. So I'm going to start with a C, which means, because C is C, E and G, I'm going to start on one of these notes. So and I'm just going to come up with a rhythm. I'm going to go, that is going to be my rhythm. So do I want to start on a C, E or G? I think I'm going to start on a G. Okay, I'm going to make my melody out of small leaps, but mainly scalic. So it's going to have some jumps, but probably I'm going to try and restrict it to a third. So let's have a look at the melody. I'm just going to hold that chord down so I know it fits. Quite like that. Let me have my cha-cha in. I'm going to repeat that. I think that just about works. I'm going on to the G now. I'm just going to repeat that. So now I have got exactly the same melody moved down a note. That is a musical sequence. Let's see if I can remember that. Oh no, that's not right. See, I already want to go to an A minor originally. I'm going to do something different now though. I really like the last bit of that. I did not like the F chord, so I would go back and have a look at the F chord again. If you're doing it changing one note per bar, it might go something like this. Sorry. So there are more chances for development if you use that's the one chord per bar system, but it's not using the waltz format, but that's okay. Okay, so by the end of this session, I want you to have put a melody in for those first two, for those first 8 bars, whether you're doing it as 8 bars or whether you're doing it as 32 bars. So again, have a muck around with it. You can record it and layer it by recording on top. You can actually, what you can do if you've got an iPhone or an iPad is you can record directly using audio into GarageBand. In fact, what I might do is show you how to do that with headphones in another tutorial. Those who don't have access to GarageBand, if you've got BandLab, you can use that or another recording software program. And what you would do is have headphones, record the first part and then multi-track it as audio as you would in using GarageBand in the classroom. Okay, so when you've done this one, record it on a phone for me as video, zip it back to me, and then I can have a listen and give you some feedback.